Hey guys, before we get started, I just want to give a quick shout out to Anthony Dentino for writing our theme song. He's awesome, and you can check him out on SoundCloud. We'll include the link in the description.
Hey everybody, welcome to Awesome Sunday Show. My name's Connor.
I'm Pat.
Thank you for listening to us. We are a conversational podcast. We try to go up as many Sundays as possible, but if not, don't kill us. We'll more than make it up for you. We have a nice special episode for you today. I know last episode we talked about the MCU and the DCU and the state of superhero movies, but we're going to focus a little bit more today on a particular show. And this show I absolutely loved. I actually liked it more than Breaking Bad. I think it's the best show on Netflix. And if you could guess, because of our first episode, Pat, what are we going to be talking about?
We're going to be talking about DareDevil, the Netflix series.
Hell yeah. Pat, how awesome was that show?
It is one of the best shows. Like, even if you don't like comic stuff, it's generally just a wonderful show. And it's huge for Netflix and Marvel that it's so successful. And it is right up there, like, with House of Cards, Orange is the New Black. Like, this is top tier also.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it's one of the best, if not one of the best things Marvel Cinematic Universe has put out.
Oh, without a doubt.
It's just...
It's better than a lot of the movies, actually.
It really is. I mean, and that's not saying the movies are bad.
It's just the writing, producing, directing, acting is just incredible.
I mean, I know last episode we talked about how about like the Marvel movies, even the movies that don't really get it right 100% of the time and aren't perfect. One thing we could always agree on is that the casting has been incredible.
Definitely.
And like, if you really want to give an example of excellent casting, just watch Daredevil and watch all the actors. It
really is fantastic.
Incredible. So, Pat, how did you want to start off talking about Daredevil episode 1?
All right, so the first thing I want to pick up on is the intro. I mean, it happens after the opening scene.
Spoilers, by the way.
But, yes, spoilers. The intro is shot entirely in red, and it matches, like, his world on fire view, like, from his accident, I think. At least that's the way I interpreted it.
With the red, I almost interpret it as he's not afraid to draw blood.
That's another good way of putting it. But
I think you can kind of go both ways with it. I mean, you get the opening shot of like you see like Justice's blind lady, like the blind Justice. I mean, there's blood. It's almost like there's blood being drawn on her.
Yeah, it's like everything's bleeding, and it shows like some crucial and important facets of his life, like his suit. His occurrences, like the people he's involved with, and definitely justice, and then like elements of Catholicism, which is a big part of Daredevil's
who he is.
Actually.
Yep. So I think that I was drawn in right away. As I remember watching the first episode, like just hearing like the violin, like
yeah,
and you like
it does have a great.
You're watching this, you're like. It's like it's almost like like when you put in a game and like you're like I know I'm gonna love this game, or you're pouring milk on a cereal you never tried. You're like I know I'm gonna love this cereal. Like it's how I felt about Daredevil.
It really hooks you in right away.
Yeah, just right away. It just I was like, all right, I'm already in. The episode could be like not that good, but I know overall the series is gonna be good just because just from watching that. I don't know what it is. I try not to judge a show that early, but I just knew I was gonna like it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like, I had high hopes for it anyway. I mean, there was no way that it couldn't be, like, a million times better than the Daredevil movie.
Yeah, that's...
And literally within, like, the first, not even 5 minutes in, it just, like... The entire intro is better than the Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck.
I know. It's, like... that movie sucks. And you know what? It's so... I don't like... I know, like, last episode we were talking about how we won't mind, like, when they change things... Like, you have to change things.
Yeah, obviously.
But, like, I didn't get why they made, like, Bullseye and Irish, like I guess because Colin Farrell was a big star at the time.
Yeah.
But he can do an English accent fine. I mean, True Detective season, the first episode of the first season, he had an English, he had a normal American accent.
Yeah, he's fine with his accents, and he's Irish. It's not too hard to do English if you could already have that like Irish accent, I guess.
I mean, and also too, like the actor that plays Matt Murdock,
Charlie Cox.
Charlie Cox, great last name. He's a British actor, and he sounds like he's from America. Like, I
feel like British actors can do a really good American accent, but American actors can't do a really good British accent.
You're gonna make fun of me for this, but I think the movie, it's a movie where Renee Zellweger, it's Bridget Jones. It's like
I've never seen
stupid,
that.
like rom-com. It's actually a pretty good movie, and everyone was freaking out before like the internet was the thing.
Yeah.
Like oh, an American actor can't play like a British girl, and she like won an Academy Award for Best Actress or Golden Globe or something like that.
With her whole scrunch face.
Well, not anymore. She got plastic surgery. She looks
Now
like a
it's just weird.
gremlin. But yeah, so that tells you a little bit about myself. But let's go back to Daredevil.
All right, yeah. So the three main characters, on the good side, basically, is Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, and then Eldon Henson is Froggy, and the best part is he was one of the Bash brothers in Mighty Ducks.
Yeah,
and I recognized him instantly, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, that's awesome."
Yeah, dude, because he's got that face that looks like he got hit with a frying pan, and you can recognize it anywhere.
Yeah.
So I did the same thing when I saw it. I was like, oh, Mighty Ducks, sweet.
Yeah.
Like Mighty Ducks trilogy is probably one of the best trilogies of all time.
Oh, without a doubt. And you know what? Foggy's kind of like the Bash brother anyway. Like their personalities are kind of the same. So he basically is acting the same, just more lawyery and serious.
Yeah. And you know what, man? Like it shows a lot of good acting chops from him too. This series, like when I saw it, I was like, it's like how is he gonna do? Like he was in Hunger Games 3 Part 1. So weird that we name movies like that now, but and he didn't talk the whole movie.
Really?
Yeah, his tongue was cut out or something like that, and he just like he showed he was pretty good. I mean, he was good in Mighty Ducks too, but also too like you didn't have to be like a great actor to be good in that movie.
See, I feel like I haven't seen him since the Mighty Ducks, and he's a pretty recognizable face because his face hasn't changed at all.
Yeah, he's one of those. Like,
yeah, he fell off the face of the earth, and now he comes in one of the best series over. I don't even know how long.
Yeah, that's like, I don't know how.
And he plays one of the main characters too, and he kills it.
Yeah, I think there's times where he outshines the other actors in in some
definitely.
Spot, especially later on in the series. He's like, you really feel like he cares just as much as Matt about cleaning up Hell's Kitchen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And at certain points, like he just gets so serious, so in depth, and like he just kills certain scenes. Even like scenes when he's not playing comic relief and stuff. Like he gets serious as anybody and pulls it off well.
Yeah, and he shows and he's a great lawyer. Like he knows what he's doing. They don't like in the Daredevil movie. I think it's Jon Favreau that plays. I don't even know if I don't even remember if it is like the same character.
Oh yeah,
but it's another lawyer with Matt Murdock.
Honestly, I only saw that movie once, and that was the year it came out, and I haven't watched it since.
I'm saying I haven't seen it in so long, but I'm trying to remember. It's Jon Favreau, and he plays like the stupid like comic relief, and it's just I mean I like Jon Favreau, but he's
it's probably just the way it was written.
But he's also the same in every movie.
For the most part, have you seen Chef? Because he's different in that.
I haven't seen it.
That's a good movie. Anyway, rounding out like the heroes are Deborah Ann Wool, who plays Karen Page, and something I actually found out.
She's beautiful.
Yes, her eyes are beautiful.
Yeah. So is the rest of her everything.
I found out is her boyfriend actually has, I forget the name of the disease, but the disease he has
today, Junior,
actually leads to blindness. So It's funny that, well, not funny at all, but
I think
it's just interesting that she experiences that in real life and then has to play that in the role.
No, yeah, I know what you mean. It's like you get the sense like she kind of like already knows what to expect, like dealing with someone who's blind, or I mean, if they are going to be a love interest.
It's kind of like, I don't know, like obviously you have to train to deal with that, but maybe she didn't have to train as much. But like Charlie Cox, he basically spent some days like 6 hours or more blind, tried doing like physical training blind so he can pull it off without, like sure, most of the time he wears his mask, but still it's, he tries to act like he's using Matt Murdock's full senses.
Yeah, you legitimately believe he's blind. The guy is like, it's almost, there's the great story about Daniel Day-Lewis preparing for Abe Lincoln. He would like go out to eat as Abe Lincoln.
He lived his life basically for the filming as Abe Lincoln.
Yeah, and like you get the sense that Charlie Cox does the same thing for Daredevil, and that's why this character really shines in the show.
Whatever he did, he pulled it off, and he killed it as it, and he literally one of the best performances of any show on Netflix or any comic show at all, or really any drama.
Yeah, you really, and it's like, it's crazy that, because you're almost playing two parts at one time. You're playing a blind guy, because you're not blind. He's not blind in real life.
Yeah.
And for, obviously. And then he's also has to play either a lawyer or a crime, like, well, when he's fighting crime, he can obviously see, like, that's, you can't do those stunts with the blindfold on, but.
Yeah, obviously. But, like, he's playing basically two personas.
Yeah, like, okay, I have to be blind, and I have to really care about what I'm saying right now.
Yeah.
So that's tough. That's really hard. And like, people say, oh, anybody can act, blah, blah, blah. Will Smith can act. It's like, well, yeah, okay, anybody can really act, but can you act?
It depends on the situation you're acting in that really contributes or ruins the performance.
Like LeBron James is in a movie coming up. Doesn't mean he can act.
Oh my God. Yeah, that movie looks fine, but the fact that he's in the main commercials pisses me off because there's no way he's a good actor.
I'm still waiting for Space Jam 2.
If he is the star of Space Jam 2, I will boycott it. And
why?
Because there doesn't need to be a second Space Jam.
Okay, but what if it was Steph Curry?
See, well, I'd be okay with Steph Curry being in it, but I recently saw this video of him rapping back in college, and it was the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. It was like a parody of
It could have been worse than Shaq.
College. Shaq was honestly better. Not gonna lie.
Okay.
Shaq looked like fucking Tupac compared to Steph Curry.
All right,
let's get back to the All right, so like the opening scene, you see Matt's dad, what's his name, Jack Murdock?
Yeah.
Walking down the street, and then he hears sirens, sees some like serious accent, and then he just had this instinct that it was Matt. Like he just comes around to, it's my boy.
Yep.
And then you know what, the kid playing the young version of Matt Murdock, I think he did pretty good throughout the series too.
Yeah, I mean,
like for being such a young actor,
he didn't obviously didn't get the screen time as everybody else, but he does a really good job. They didn't just pick someone out of a hat. Like
I think he definitely earned it.
Yeah,
with whatever sort of casting he had to do. But yeah, I mean, like he's obviously only in flashbacks, but he plays in some crucial flashbacks, and he does a good job in it, I think.
Yeah, he does. I think it's really good. I mean, there wasn't, like I said, like there wasn't enough for him to show if he did a phenomenal job or not.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they gave him more screen time, if there was like an entire episode he had to be in, I'm sure he would have been great.
Well, yeah, there's always next season for that.
Yeah. If they do that.
It's already confirmed that, well, yeah, if they do the flashbacks, I'm sure they will.
Yeah, I know it's confirmed they're doing a second season.
Because, there's still a lot to Matt Murdock that we don't fully know. And, like, there's still, like a lot of time period between, like, him first getting blind to him training with Stick to him, becoming a lawyer and stuff and all that. Like, there's still plenty that they can do in terms of flashbacks.
Right.
Whether they do more or less, depends.
Yep.
All right. And I thought it was really interesting or really smart. Like, one of the scenes after the intro shows Matt in confession with a priest, which, like, as I mentioned before, in the comics, he's a devout Catholic, and it really plays into a huge role of who he is, like, as a person and then as a crime fighter.
Yeah, he it's a little ironic because he's a devil.
Yeah.
But I mean, but it also makes sense because he's come out of Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, really.
So it's cool. Like it's already religiously symbolic. Just him in general, just his persona.
Yeah, without a doubt. And actually, it kind of leads to like him having some revelations, like as lame as that may sound, like just talking to the priest. And one thing I really like about the priest is he's like a realist. He's not like all his advice is not just like from a religious side.
Yeah.
It's also like him knowing that there's more to life than just religion, and that he's a realist.
Yeah, he's obviously he's a priest. He's as devout as they come, but he also isn't like grounded in the real world.
Yeah,
You know?
he gets that not everything's black and white, and that there's bullshit that religion can't explain or can't guide you through.
I wouldn't go that far. I think they're not that. I don't. You might be right, but I don't know if like as far as like religion can't explain or Catholicism can't explain. It's that he is automatically just gonna go just for like a just a real standpoint.
Yeah, that's true, but like I feel like a lot of the advice he gives them throughout the series is more like human based and not like something that not religious based advice.
Yeah, because I think he looks at Matt Murdock just like more because it's like he's talking to a friend.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, which is good interaction, and it makes Matt more at ease with his oh my god, if I stutter one more fucking time,
It's
Catholicism, and him dealing with like what he does as a vigilante.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know, like I mean, me being little, I grew up Catholic. I think I was.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, I grew up Catholic, and then I think it was like in 8th grade, I stopped going to a Catholic church. I went to a different church, but that's a totally different story for another day. Nothing to do with this. So going on, going into confession, like you talk to a priest, and you kind of leave. Okay, cool, like that, like and like I always left feeling fulfilled, but at the same time, like I always felt if that
It's kind of like a weight off your shoulders.
Yeah,
and you realize, like, you accept what you did was in the past, and you build off that. But I feel like, at least with Matt Murdock, every time he's done talking with the priest, he kind of plans out more ahead and is more accepting of what he has to do in order to get his mission accomplished.
Right, yeah, because it's not just some guy saying, all right, say 2 Hail Marys, 12 Our Fathers, and, be on your merry way. It's like, no, like, this is what you need to do. Like, how do you feel? Like, how do you think God would feel this way? It's like, it's almost like, it's like if you talk to your friends, like, hey, like, what do you think God would say about this? If and that's what I really liked. It wasn't, and I gotta give credit where credit is due. Going back to the old Daredevil movie, the parts with the priest and Ben Affleck are actually really well done. I could have watched the whole movie. I could have just watched the whole movie on them talking.
Yeah.
But too bad it wasn't that. It was just the rest of it was crap.
Yeah. And like the priest throughout every episode, he kind of gets more involved, and like I feel like a lot of it, his advice, he tries to say as a holy man, but at the same time he's like, without really saying it, he's like, yeah, you're gonna have to do some bad shit, and like that's what you have to do, then just do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you, like just going back, I mean, for being a priest, and obviously he's biblically he's very knowledgeable. There are holy men that have to go and wipe out cities just because of how dangerous and how sinful those cities are. So the priest knows, he's like, all right, well, you got to do what you got to do, and are you going to attack this? Are you going to attack this man because you want to or because you need to?
Yeah, my favorite line from that first interaction with the priest was, he's not seeking forgiveness for what he has done. He goes, I'm asking for forgiveness for what I'm about to do, which I thought is just like a good setup for the next scene. And like it's kind of a cheesy line, but it was still badass.
You know what? Like I did see that line coming, but it didn't make me. It's weird. Like usually when I could predict something that's about to happen, and like I don't think I'm sure I'm not the only one that thought that. Like, all right, because he hasn't done anything yet, he's gonna say something along those lines. Yeah. But just because the acting was so good just in that scene, that I was like, oh wow, I thought the same thing. I was like, that is badass. Yeah. Like I was like, all right, like what's gonna happen? Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go, Daredevil.
He just lets you know that you're gonna be in for a ride. And then, so then we see him in a costume for the first time, and like it's kind of like the typical superhero beginner outfit,
Yeah.
all black, a mask, like nothing different. but it's modeled more after Frank Miller's The Man Without Fear, which is actually which happens to be his nickname. I don't know if that led to it or not, but like it's a really great Daredevil series.
Yeah, I know. I read Daredevil. I haven't read a Daredevil comic since I was in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
I have some of them, if not in my room in the attic, and I know I have some of the Frank Miller stuff. So I'm trying to hark back to some of the memory, like of what I remember reading, and the show. But from what I remember, is just the show overall is literally inspired by Frank Miller's series and writing.
Yeah, without a doubt. You can, like, if you know Frank Miller, basically everything he's ever written is fucking sweet.
Not everything.
For the most part.
Like, there's some Batman stuff I have to show you that's, like, terrible. Not Year One or Dark Knight Returns or The Dark Knight Strikes Again, because those are awesome.
Without a doubt, yeah.
But, there's some stuff. I mean, not everything he touches is gold.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
But like 90% of it is. But yeah, Frank Miller for the most part is the man, and like I mean, there's not just Daredevil, but there's been other movies and TV shows like based off his stuff, like his tone. Like I mean, the whole Christopher Nolan Batman series is literally like Batman Begins is essentially Batman Year One.
Yeah, and you could tell that his influence on this season is huge.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they put it, to great use. It works out well for them. And I'm glad, actually. Like, I'm really glad about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we get our first hint that it actually takes place in the MCU, if you didn't already know that beforehand. Because there's a Battle of New York poster and that was the overarching struggle in the first Avengers movie, but they refer to it a lot as the incident. Like they never say the Battle of New York, you just see that newspaper cover.
Yeah.
And like if they just call that the incident, what is Ultron's going to be like?
Yeah.
Attempt at mass extinction going to be called?
Yeah.
Like, the problem.
The dilemma. I don't know. Yeah, that's one thing too. It's like, dude, like 9/11 wasn't like an incident.
Yeah.
And the total battle in New York during the Avengers was like it's like that South Park joke, like 9/11 times 1,000, like 900,000. Like it's like, oh, the incident. And like they do that
they're making it seem like it wasn't as devastating as it was, because the Battle of New York basically was the battle for the world from the Chitauri.
Yeah, I have to show you an article later on IGN. Like someone did a mathematical equation, like estimating of how much damage was caused in New York, and it was like trillions of dollars.
Yeah, I mean, they almost nuked it probably to save more damage than it was. But yeah, if you have that article, we could put it in like description for this.
Or yeah, we could put it in the link if I find it. Yeah.
All right, so then next we see Karen Page. That's like one of the first main characters that's introduced.
Okay. Which is like the one case like you probably wouldn't want, like, if you were an actual lawyer starting out.
It's a pretty open and shut case.
Yeah.
Like, there's literally every ounce of evidence against her, but they're desperate for it. They get the hint from one of their old friends who is in the police department, and it's their first case for their quote-unquote law firm that they have.
Which is like if I like got like a George Foreman grill and put it in my car and said, "Hey, I'm opening up like a food truck." Like it's like that. Like it's like that bad, but it makes the show better. Like that's why I'm not knocking the show for it. Like it's awesome that they set the show up like that.
Yeah, and I mean that's an easy introduction between all three characters.
Yeah,
and then she even becomes their secretary to repay them because she obviously can't afford to repay them. And with Karen Page, her background kind of varies depending on which issues you're reading, but like for the most part, she's either a prostitute or a drug addict. And throughout the season, we never really get like the truth about her background. She kind of
they shroud it in mystery.
Yeah, they kind of like drop a little hints there, but they never like come out and say exactly what is going on with her.
But I like that because now, we like next maybe we'll know more next season.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna have to delve into her background a little bit more.
Yeah,
if they're gonna keep her as one of the main characters of the show.
She doesn't look like a drug addict or a prostitute though. So I don't.
Maybe now. You never know what she looked like prior.
Yeah, but
I mean, they could change it to something different. I mean, it's
I
they
guess,
can do whatever they want with it, really.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, what I wonder what they're gonna do. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Like, she could be an ex drug addict or whatnot. We don't know, but I don't think they're gonna do the drug addict prostitute.
That's true.
I don't think they are. I could be wrong, but it's just from what the direction the show is going. She didn't grow, like they even say later on in the series that she hasn't been in New York her whole life. She's been there for like a few years.
Yeah.
So unless she was from a different city and she left that city because she was a drug addict or prostitute, she had to get out of there.
Yeah, they could literally do anything.
Yeah.
Really.
But that's just what I think.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it's gonna be that. I think they're gonna do something original.
All right. And then like she gets thrown right into the plot of the whole season, which is basically like Union Allied doing some shady stuff with like, I mean it's headed by Wilson Fisk. And
Pat, we don't say his name.
Oh, good point.
We don't say his name, Pat.
That's true. We'll call him Wesley's employer.
Yeah. But we're just going with the show.
Yeah, I mean, Wesley serves as his employer, aka Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin, his like second in command, carries out a lot of his dirty work, and yeah. So basically, he mentions his employer so much, he even tells other characters not to say it. And if you took a shot for every time he said his employer, I'm pretty sure you would go through alcohol poisoning in every single episode.
Yeah, there's no way. I was like his employer. I was like, we know who it is.
Yeah.
But like, it makes the show like that's just because like we knew we knew everything, like because obviously we love comics and we're nerds like that. Like we knew everything. Like if you never knew about Daredevil, it would actually like you'd be like
Kingpin's not even like he's also big with Spider-Man and the rest of the Marvel. But yeah, I mean, even if you saw that Abomination Daredevil movie, Michael Clark Duncan played Kingpin in that.
Yeah.
And so obviously he's huge to Daredevil. But I think that just referring to him as his employer builds up suspense for when we first do meet him.
Yeah, it built like if you never read the comics or saw the TV show or the movie, like it does build up suspense. Like if you're like just like a normal everyday person, you're like, oh wow, like what's his name,
Yeah. Wesley, I think, was created for the show, and I got to tell you, I really like him as a character.
I liked him too.
I mean, he's an evil piece of shit, but he's just so smooth about everything, and like he just like has no remorse for it, and just like thinks it's fun for the most part.
Yeah, it's almost like I don't know, he's almost like he like wants to please his boss so much. It's like Smithers wanting to please Mr. Burns in every way possible.
That's a good way of pointing it.
Like maybe he likes him more than a friend, but his employer just wants to be friends.
Could be. But yeah, I think he's a great character, and he plays a large role in the season overall, and especially in the first few episodes.
Oh yeah. He's a key figure in this first season, like no doubt. And like that's an original character that's really, from what I know, not like I don't know if he's in the comics or not, right?
I've never heard of him until the show.
Yeah, I never heard of him either. If we're wrong, someone post in the comments nicely.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick. But yeah, from what we said, from what we know, we never seen it. But he's a great original character.
Yeah, definitely. And he was also well cast.
Yeah,
I think the actor who plays him, don't know his name, but he does a kick-ass job. And I'll probably only know him as Wesley any other time I see him, if I do.
He could be in an Academy Award-winning movie. Hi, Wesley. You did a great job.
Be Wesley. Yeah.
Still be Wesley. It's like that one guy. He'll always be Al Bundy, no matter how funny Modern Family is. I don't know, he is still Al Bundy.
That's true. All right, so then, like, his evilness starts with, like, before Matt and Foggy get Karen off. That sounds dirty.
Yeah.
She's in prison, and basically
Daredevil XXX.
He finds a security guard who works for the prison, and basically it threatens that if he doesn't do what his employer asks, he's gonna kill his daughter, and he has a live stream of some assassin just watching his daughter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That
And he just goes, here, this is what we're going to do. Wave to the camera, whatever the assassin's name is. And he goes, so you're going to do it? Yeah, you're going to do it, basically.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think you can get the most straight-laced guy, if it's your kid. He's like, all right, well, now I guess I have to do it.
But, like, the way he does that scene just shows his character and, like, his traits and stuff. Like, it just, the way he goes about it, it just sets basically his, his personality for the entire show.
Yeah. And it's like every character in the show I had some sort of care for, even his employer.
Yeah.
We can just say Fisk. Let's stop going with that.
Yeah, his name is
Wilson Fisk,
or better known as Kingpin.
Yeah.
But
we'll just say Kingpin.
Yeah. I mean, it's shorter, but
I mean, even Kingpin, like, you really care about him, like, especially throughout the rest of the season. Like, you see his character build up, and you get to really know who he is. Like, you start to feel sorry for him. Yeah, in a lot of episodes.
He plays Vincent D'Onofrio, I think is how you say it. He was in Law and Order: Criminal Intent. He's the weird detective, but he brings like a real vulnerability to the character, I think, and kind of makes him seem like he's really not too much of a man-child, but you can see he struggles with some aspects of that.
Yeah, he has some immature qualities.
Yeah, and you can tell like he's very haunted by something that he kind of has this
that we won't give away.
Yeah, he kind of has this like feel about him that he still has to prove himself, and he still needs to basically be powerful from when he was weak earlier in his life or something like that. But it's a different side of Kingpin that you really don't normally see or read.
Yeah, and like, you know what? It was awesome. It really, like, he's probably he's another just excellent character. This show is just filled with excellent characters. Like,
really is.
There really isn't one person I'm like, they really could have done without that person.
And it's just everything is so well acted. Like, it's just like you pick out any character and you're like, yeah, that performance was amazing.
Yep.
And but for some people I asked, like, he was kind of hit or miss with some people, but like some people didn't really like the way he's portrayed, but I really liked it because it was different, it was new, and then it kind of showed it was like a good contrast to Matt Murdock.
Yeah, the Kingpin in the comics though is a lot like Wesley. That's the name, right? Is actually like he's actually a lot more like that, and especially in some aspects. I mean, most people know like the Kingpin from the 1990 Spider-Man animated TV show, about how like he kind of comes off as like, like a nice guy, like, oh, Mary Jane, you fell down, let me help you up, stuff like that. But he's actually like, he is like a Wesley. He's like, oh, in the comics, it's in Ultimate Spider-Man. No, not Ultimate Spider-Man. It might be like one of the later Amazing Spider-Man runs. Kingpin like hold Spider-Man down. It's like, all right, by the way, like, I think it is Ultimate Spider-Man.
Uh-huh.
He's oh, by the way, like, I'm profiting from you. Like, I'm making toys. Like, I'm doing all this. He goes, so you're not gonna go in my business anymore.
Yeah, he tries to have a hand in everything.
Yeah.
And within the show, like even in the first episode, it shows.
Yeah.
Like, he has his hand in everything that's going on in Hell's Kitchen.
Yep.
And it even extends outside of that, but the focus is Hell's Kitchen.
But they changed a lot of him for the show, but I feel like, for me personally, I feel like it was for the better.
Yeah. I mean, I really loved the way the character was portrayed.
Yeah.
I had no complaints about it.
At all.
Like, Vincent D'Onofrio did an amazing job. And every performance, like, if you haven't seen him in Law and Order: Criminal Intent, but you've seen Full Metal Jacket.
The one that's like not as good as SVU, but still like entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of the, a great actor and everything, and he does it really well.
Yeah.
And then, so, like, basically, within this first episode, we get a feel of there's this guy controlling Hell's Kitchen, and then there's kind of like a quote-unquote evil council amongst other powerful people in Hell's Kitchen who do different businesses there.
Yeah, they all have a different part
Yeah.
in what they're doing.
And it all kind of ties to Union Allied, who's basically like the coalition of each of these members and basically what they put their actions and money through.
Yeah.
And like that's how Karen Page, she fits into that because she sets herself up to become a target from them because she discovers a pension embezzlement scheme and releases it. So that's how she gets involved and basically set up for the murders. So other than just being associated with Foggy and Matt Murdock, like she's also a target herself, not just like an associate who gets thrown into the mix.
Yeah, she's not just some like bimbo that's like,
Yeah.
I found myself in here, like
Yeah.
like not some like Betty Boop character. Like she actually is like smart.
Yeah.
And like she's like, no, like I know what you're doing, and that's another reason why I liked her a lot in this show. Like she might not be like, I don't want to say important, but prominent as much as like Foggy and Matt.
Yeah, she's definitely very prominent, and she contributes a lot to some like crucial scenes and crucial plot points.
Especially later on in the series. As far as like episode 1 goes, like she's kind of like, she just plays like more of a victim.
Yeah.
But you can sense some sort of intelligence.
Yeah.
Later on in the season, though, you really start to see like how resourceful she actually can be.
Yeah. Yeah, she knows how to hold her own.
Yeah.
Another thing that if you watch this, you would know, the fight scenes are so well choreographed.
I was waiting for you to get to that.
Like, they are some of the best choreographed fight
Yeah.
scenes I've ever seen.
I'm a huge samurai, Japanese movie, Korean movie, like kung fu. I've seen almost every Jackie Chan movie. I know fight scenes. I can see them. It's literally like a dance if you like the way they choreograph it. And Daredevil is some of the best I've ever seen.
And it's consistently awesome.
Yeah.
And basically only gets better. Like,
Yep.
every fight scene throughout the entire season just kicks ass.
Yeah, it's like the highlight fight scene is in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
We won't mention it right now.
I think it's one of episode 2 has it's kind of tied for the best fight scene, I think, in the whole season. Like episode 9 has an awesome fight scene too.
Yes.
And then we'll get more into the fight scene in episode 2 later on. But the first fight scene that we see, actually, like, you pick up on just how important his senses are to him, like his heightened senses, because while he's fighting, basically, when he's using his senses, like his hearing and his smell and everything, it slows down and shows his concentration, the extent to how much he concentrates to be able to pull off fighting blind.
Yeah. But like you also get the sense too that his blindness isn't a handicap for him. It actually, because his other senses are so strong and heightened, that
he may not
he has
have
an
been
advantage.
He may not have been a great crime fighter if he could see.
Yeah,
Like-
he might. Yeah, he just might be a regular old dude. You know?
Yeah.
His heightened senses. I almost like, I don't know, like it may, like this is one of those shows that makes you think it's like, would I be blind to have all my other senses heightened?
Yeah.
You know, if I could be badass like Daredevil.
Well, I mean, like, this is different. Like, his is like superhuman and not just,
I mean,
regular, but-
I'm not saying that. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm saying like if I would have superhuman senses like
but
Daredevil.
obviously that's his, not really superpower, but that's his like natural, just crazy ability.
Yeah,
And
they don't say superpowers in the show. They say they do say abilities.
yeah, and that's the best way to put it. And I think that's one, like, the idea to have it like slow down when he's using them, and I think it's just great directing and great editing.
Yeah.
Because it really places like the importance on it.
Well, yeah, it places the importance, and it gives you time to breathe and like figure out like how powerful his senses are.
Yeah.
So because if he was just fighting the whole time, like the thing about like a great fight scene, gives you time to breathe during nonstop action.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it's like crucial to the plot.
Yeah.
And they do that very well. Very, very well in this.
Yeah, it's not just pointless fighting.
Yeah, which, I mean, hey, listen, I like pointless fighting. I mean, there was pointless fighting outside of Bar A last night. That was really entertaining. But, no, it's just like, it's like the fighting is crucial to the plot, like, and what you need.
Yeah, there's always like a reason behind the fights he gets into.
Yes.
Like, it's not just him encountering some random dude stealing some lady's purse.
Yeah, and like it doesn't make him out to look like a sadist, even though like he's scared that he might be, like, you know, he's like, do I want to?
Yeah,
like, he struggles with that.
Every fight he gets into, he has a purpose for getting into it.
Right.
And he knows, like, it always leads to something he has to accomplish.
Yeah.
And like that's good. I really enjoy that. Like, it's not just throwing in fight scenes to be entertaining.
Right. It's like, and like, this isn't a knock against the movies, but like the original Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire, there's just scenes of him swinging around New York, and he just saves like a random person or whatnot. Yeah. It's just to show it all. It's just to show off. But Daredevil's so smart. The show Daredevil is so smart. It's like, all right, no, like, let's show off how cool he is. Yeah. While making the plot move forward.
Yeah, I think, like, I wouldn't call Spider-Man a vigilante, but, you know, he's a superhero. He's supposed to be doing good. But Daredevil, much like Batman, I think Daredevil and Batman have, like, very similar, they're well calculated. They want to help people in a bigger manner than just, you know, petty crime.
Yeah.
Like, they basically are the perfect personification of vigilante.
Yeah.
Like, they carry it out so well, and like, if you think vigilante, I think Daredevil and Batman. Like, obviously they're heroes.
Yeah.
But the way they conduct themselves through their crime fighting is like that.
I would argue that Daredevil is more of a vigilante than Batman.
That's true.
Because Batman starts off as a vigilante, but because he has the best superpower of all time,
which is money.
And I literally, whenever someone asks me what superpower you have, I'm like, I would be a multi-billionaire, because that is a superpower.
Yeah, it really is.
It really is.
Batman, Tony Stark.
Yeah, like, money can buy you sweet powers and gadgets.
Yeah.
Also,
that's
Arrow.
why Bill Gates is wasting time.
Yeah, and like, how many billionaires are there in the world? Like, there's over like 500, 600 billionaires, and none of them are like Batman or Iron Man. Like,
so they're obviously all pussies.
Yeah, they all suck. But yeah, I'd argue that Daredevil is more of a vigilante, because he's kind of like, besides
he doesn't really have gadgets. Or anything.
Besides, he's kind of an everyman. Besides him being blind and have, like, you know, superpowers of like his heightened senses and stuff.
Yeah, so he's kind of, like you mentioned, Green Arrow. Green Arrow, he doesn't have powers either. He has money, but he doesn't really employ a lot of gadgets either.
Right. And
so he's kind of more vigilante, but he has more tools at his disposal.
Right. Yeah, like, that's like Green Arrow from Justice League Unlimited. I feel like he's not. I feel like he's more of a less than of a vigilante than like Green Arrow from the TV series.
Yeah. Yeah. If you watch Arrow, that's definitely the vigilante side of him.
But I really like the Arrow from Justice League Unlimited too.
Yeah.
Because boxing glove Arrow. Come on.
They do show that in Arrow, the TV show, actually.
They do.
Yeah, and everybody lost their shit when that happened. Like on.
Did you take off your pants?
Reddit. Yeah, I was masturbating right away.
That's awesome. I probably would have done that too. So yeah, I feel like Daredevil is like the ultimate vigilante, like, hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so, like, after they save Karen Page and everything, she offers to be their secretary, and that is the first showing of their relationship. She's like, you know, I can't give you money, but here's dinner. And actually, I think that dinner was really important because it showed them coming together, and then the pan out of that scene showed the Nelson and Murdoch sign, which was literally just scribbled on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And it shows, like, they're starting, you know, they have nothing right now but their drive, their will. They have no money, they barely managed to get like an office, if you can even call it that.
Yeah.
And it shows that they're working from the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
Which, that's what Daredevil's doing too.
Yeah, and it goes it goes hand in hand, because I mean Daredevil he starts off with like a costume that's not even a costume. It's like literally like workout gear.
Yeah, basically.
Like pretty much, and it's like he's like bare bones right now as a superhero, and they're bare bones as a law firm.
Yeah, and they really set that up well.
Yeah,
and like it's very important to their characters.
Yep, and as Matt and Foggy grow and Karen grows, as their friendship grows and like their business grows, Daredevil grows.
Yeah, that actually kind of happens like, basically parallel with it.
Yeah,
I would say, and like, it's very connected. Those two things. That's really a good point.
Yeah.
And then like towards the end of the episode, we see Matt training in a gym, and one thing I noticed in that is there's a poster on the wall. It's kind of just like a brief little, if you aren't like, like I didn't notice it the first time I watched it, but the second time I watched it, I noticed it, and it was actually a poster from his dad's last fight. It's Creel versus Murdoch, and like they get more into that in episode 2, but I thought it was a nice reference to something that sets up a really big plot point for episode 2.
Right.
But my favorite part of that training scene, or montage, if you will, is like between him using the punching bag, it shows what the like other characters are up to. Like it sets up like Fisk's evil council, basically. Like it shows the Asian lady with her.
It's not the Legion of Doom.
It's not the Legion of Doom. Showing her, heroin factory. So it goes from him punching the bag to that. Then it goes back to him punching the bag. Then it goes to that other Asian guy. They got 2 Asians. You know what? That's really good, race inclusion right there.
Yeah.
They're very diverse. Showing
get that 2 Asians.
showing like his construction plans. And then it shows I forget his name, but I think he's like the head accountant for a Union Ally, transferring all the funds and basically hiding Union Allies trace to it.
Which guy are you talking about right now?
The older white guy with the glasses.
Oh, the guy from Shawshank Redemption.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I wish I knew.
Why are you being so obtuse?
Yeah.
That guy was obtuse that whole series.
Yeah.
I think every role he's been in, he's obtuse.
Yeah, basically.
Pretty much.
And so you see him trying to sever all ties between Union Allied and the pension embezzlement scandal. And actually, one thing I really like about him is he gets pissed off every time he doesn't see Fisk, and he constantly...
He's obtuse. He's obtuse the whole show.
He's constantly trying to say his name before Wesley butts in and tells him not to.
Yeah. It's great, though. It's great.
Yeah.
I would
like, you can just tell
he's
he's sick of his shit.
Yeah.
Like, he just wants to get it done. He hates that he's not, meeting face-to-face with Fisk. He feels like Fisk is just not taking it as serious as it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a great character.
He's
definitely
great.
obtuse.
Yeah, like it's awesome, and everything I see that guy in, he's always pissed about something.
Yeah. And he's another one of my favorite characters for the series. I just have so many like
what it is,
characters I really enjoy.
I think it's funny. It's funny to watch him be mad because he's so sarcastic about stuff. He's like, "This is great!" Like he's always such and like you just see like Kingpin and like Wesley's like, "Oh God!" Like
he's the Joe really of that evil council. Exactly.
Joe, I really hope you're listening right now.
I doubt it. Joe's dead.
Yeah, I don't know where Joe, if you're out there and listening, call me.
Yeah. And then the last minute of the episode is him in his vigilante gear standing on top of the roof listening for crime, and he's standing on a roof and he hears all the screams and like sirens and stuff and like people's conversation in cars, like just by concentrating on his hearing. That's nuts.
Yeah.
And it just shows how powerful his senses really are. And
the show does a good job of like showing how cool it can be.
Yeah.
But also, I don't want to say it's like a curse because that's very like.
No, it's. If he wasn't a vigilante, I would say that would suck, but he's putting it to use.
Yeah, he's putting it
which
to
is
use. But the point I'm trying to convey is that like
it's more of a blessing.
Yeah, it is more of a blessing, but it's also like it has to suck too. Like, and I feel like
Yeah.
they show you later on.
Well, yeah, in later episodes, they show just how hard it was for him to train to
Exactly,
be like that.
and adapt to it.
But actually, even when they show him in the hospital after the accident, like the younger him, he struggles because he's already hearing basically everything, and he just starts crying because everything's so loud.
Yeah,
and so when he first gets it, it's like a constant like annoyance and struggle. But then later on, as he develops it, it's the best thing about him.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like he can even hear heartbeats, and that's how he was able to tell that Karen didn't really do it.
Can you hear my heartbeat?
I always hear your heartbeat. I feel your heartbeat in my chest.
Is that we're just really close? You can't see how close we are right now.
Yeah. And then like the best use of that at the end of the episode is you see the Russians grab that little kid.
Yes.
They pull his dad out of the car, beat the shit out of his dad, and then they grab this little kid that ends as a setup for the next episode, but they don't show how close he is to that, like Daredevil standing on that roof in like proximity to that happening, but he hears the kid screaming from however far away he is, from however high up he is.
Yep. And I guess just to close off on episode 1, like what we're talking about, people knew that this was going to be like a grittier like thing that Marvel was going to do.
And you know what, they show it well. It sets the dark tone for the entire series,
because this couldn't have been done Marvel wouldn't have released this as a movie, and they couldn't have put it on regular television. Like Netflix was Netflix was literally, for a show like this to happen from the MCU, could only have really been done on Netflix.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
And like sometimes, like I'm in the boat. Like grittier isn't always better. Sometimes, like you can see a really lighthearted superhero movie that's just as good as a really good gritty superhero movie.
But you know, when it's done well without being over the top, it's wonderful.
It's wonderful. And Daredevil needs to be gritty.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
in the entire like every comic issue he's ever been in, everything's dark. Like his whole personality, everything.
Like Batman can go both ways. You can't have a campy Batman and have it be awesome.
Yeah,
because
like the first Batman series with Adam West.
It's a great series.
It is. It's goofy as hell, but it's great. Yeah,
but like Daredevil doesn't work like that. So like they had Marvel really did make a great choice by putting it on Netflix and kind of letting the writers. I feel like Marvel had the least amount of control on this than they ever had with any of their movies.
Yeah, they have control of everything in all the movies. And like I don't know if that's just because, you know, they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars to make the movie, or if it's just, you know, for whatever other reason, but yeah, they let Daredevil, the series, do what it needs to do.
Yeah, it was a really smart decision, and it really shows. I mean, it's the highest rated show on Netflix.
What's it got, like a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that? And so it's literally critically acclaimed. It's almost a perfect series by like most critic standards.
Yeah, it's one of the best television series I've ever seen. I think it's better than Breaking Bad. And people are probably going to hate me for saying that, but I think it's true.
Like it's not even just an amazing superhero show. Like even if you don't like superhero shows or comic shows or anything, it's also just like a great drama.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to know shit about the comics. You don't have to watch it for...
This is a show you could watch with your girlfriend, and your girlfriend would be like, oh, wow, that's cool. But your girlfriend should be in the comics.
Yeah, that's true. If you don't dump them.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Yeah, it's just like a show for different audience spaces, I think.
Yeah, and like it literally appeals to the diehards and to the ones who are like, oh, I just want to watch a good show. And it does it great.
It really does. You know, it's kind of like... I mean, I hate The Walking Dead, but it's kind of like The Walking Dead. Like, it's based off like a successful graphic novel, and obviously,
you hate The Walking Dead.
It sucks. The first season, second season are great. It's good up until season 3, episode 3. But
I
that's beside the point.
I haven't watched the 5th season yet, but I really like season 1, 2, and 4. I think season 3 sucks. I think the second season of Walking Dead is one of the best seasons of any television show, but it's all right. That's a different podcast.
Yeah,
Well,
the point I'm trying to make is like there are fans who read the graphic novel who read it to see it live, and then there's people who got into it just for the drama.
Yeah.
And like it's a well-received show. It has a huge audience base. I think its season premieres and season finales average like 10 million or more viewers, and for a cable show, especially on AMC, that's huge. Like that and Breaking Bad and Mad Men reach viewership that other cable shows other than like HBO or some HBO shows don't even reach that much.
No.
But yeah, it just shows that maybe if Daredevil was on HBO or something, it could have about average numbers, but it was one of the most watched things on Netflix ever. Like it's got as much quality drama as House of Cards, as Orange is the New Black, and then like every now and then there's some lighthearted moments, usually provided by Foggy.
Yeah.
But like it's a show that basically anybody can enjoy for different reasons.
And and one thing that the lighthearted moments like is it's not
forced.
It's not forced. And sometimes when you watch, when you see like a good action movie and there's like a lighthearted moment, and it's kind of cheesy, like pretty much any Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, like you're like, all right, just start kicking people, dude. Like some of the best moments of the show are the shows where they're kind of just hanging out.
Yeah.
Like remember in Adventures 2 when they're all like hanging out after the party.
Yeah.
Like that was like I feel like that was the best part of the movie personally, because
that was great.
It reminded me of remember my Halloween party year?
Yeah.
Like last year, well, maybe you do, but we're Rob L copied Justin.
No,
Well, man.
Justin copied Rob L.
That was the opposite.
Let's establish that. Rob L, who's also dead, he definitely, I think he gets more credit for that than Justin does, because Justin's a bitch. Sorry, Justin.
I love you, Justin, but you are. But yeah, like remember like at the time, like when everyone left and it was just like 8 of us hanging out, and like
it just shows like the closeness that the characters develop.
Yeah,
and
they're all friends. Like they're all good friends, and they trust each other. They hang out, and you get that in Daredevil too. At the scenes where they're just
those
hanging.
scenes are just as important, or more important than some of the solo scenes between Matt like doing his stuff and like just random villains, or like him dealing with like the heads of the crime in Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah,
like it's necessary. It's not forced, and it's important, and it just shows how well-rounded Daredevil as a series is.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's I mean, I know it's the first season, but it's a hell of a first season.
Oh, without a doubt.
Like it's so good.
It just like goes into full force within the first episode, and like usually first episodes are pilots, and since it's a Netflix show, they really didn't like it. Didn't really. It's not a pilot in the traditional sense, but it sets up the entire series and show what it's capable of right in that first hour.
Yep.
And like it only gets better from there.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So that pretty much wraps what we think about episode 1.
Yeah, so that's the end of our talk and ramblings of episode 1. The next podcast we release will be about episode 2, and then depending on how long we talk about that or any future episodes, we'll either do.
Okay, well, Pat, just pause for a second because my stomach did the largest growl of all time.
I'm surprised the mics probably picked that up.
If the mics didn't pick it up, I'd be surprised too.
You made me lose. Oh yeah, all right. So like, since it's the first episode, it really warrants us talking for an extended amount of time. I don't even know how long we've been talking. It's definitely over like 40 minutes. So yeah, maybe some episodes will do like 1 hour for both of them combined or something like that. Or
it's just, not only was this about the first episode, but it kind of essentially how we feel about the series.
Yeah, it's more than just a review of the first episode,
right.
I would say. But, who knows? But yeah, listen on Sunday and hopefully every Sunday we could do something. Maybe twice on Sundays,
Yeah. If you're
Wanna-
feeling extra special,
Yeah,
or if you subscribe,
wanna,
like us, rate us, comment,
if
share.
you want a little morning fun or a nightcap,
I honestly, I'm willing to go really far for you people to advertise us in ways that I don't want to say on the air right now. No, I'm just kidding. Not really.
All right. So thanks for listening, guys. Until the next one.
Have a good one.